Alrighty, we are live. So, hello everyone. My name is Chris Zach. You may ask yourself, does this guy really have two first names and salon quality hair? And the answer is yes. So it's really nice to see you all today. As I mentioned, my name is Chris Sack. I teach two classes every month in the Real Academy. So, full disclosure, I am not a realtor, or if you're not in the industry, a realtor. I actually own and operate a company out here in San Diego called Chris Zach Interact. So, just a little kind of introduction of me. I've been teaching in the academy for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. There was about 1,200 agents with Real when I started. And so it's been a lot of fun to watch you guys grow and grow along with you. But yeah, our company, we do two things and we do two things well. So we do Facebook, Instagram, Google, and YouTube ads for agents. That's a big, big part of our business. And then the other big part is we love helping agents integrate technology into their business. So you've got seven different systems, none of them are talking. Maybe you've got Lofty, Lofty's not set up. And so we help agents really, really on the online side of their business and just making their life a lot easier. So if there's anything we can do to help you, please, please, please let us know. But otherwise, today is not a sales pitch, I promise. But I always have agents that reach out during these. Chris, can you help me set up my bold trail? Can you help me set up my lofty? The answer is yes. But today we're going to go over Facebook Ads 101. I'm a big fan of this topic. I've been teaching this exact class for about actually probably going on 8 years now. Um, and it's a great topic. And the reason why is because real estate agents are always blown away after they attend this class. They're like, Chris, I had no idea it was actually this easy to create my own Facebook ad. So it's really, really important to understand a couple things about Facebook ads. It's also really important to understand some do's and don'ts. So today, from start to finish, I'm going to show you what to do and how to do it with creating an ad. With that being said, I always like to start it out with any questions that we do have. I always, excuse me, like to get a pulse of why are you attending here today? Do you have a new listing? Are you trying to promote that? Are you trying to generate more buyers and sellers? Are you trying to do a better job staying in front of your past clients? What's the goal of attending today? And if anyone has like a specific kind of want or need, like, hey, Chris, I need to set up, X, Y, and Z, please feel free to share it with the class here today. I'd love to answer any specific questions that we have or asks, but if not, I'll give you guys about 20 seconds or so to answer. And if not, I will just kind of go ahead with my agenda, but any questions at all? Yes, this is being recorded. What other questions? Yes, this is a great class for beginners. The great class for beginners. So if you're brand spanking new to Facebook ads, this is for you. Yep, yep. All right, perfect. Um, so let's cover a couple topics. Why should you use Facebook ads? Why should you be using Facebook ads? We're going to talk about choosing a custom audience, as they call it, or choosing an audience. We're going to get into how do you market one specific listing. We're going to talk about targeting specific neighborhoods or cities, counties, states, countries. We'll dive into all of that. And then, what is a Facebook ad versus a boost? If there is one thing you take away from today, I want it to be this: do not do Facebook boost. Please, for the life of me, please, please, please stop doing Facebook boost. It's a waste of money. You just do not have the control, visibility. You're not going to get good results with them the way that you can with Facebook ads. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. And then also, what is a Facebook manager? We're going to talk about targeting on Facebook, Instagram, and then how much to spend and what to expect. Um, so, with that being said, what do you need to succeed on Facebook ads? What do you need to succeed on Facebook ads? So I love kind of covering some of the basics. You need a Facebook account. You need a personal account in order to create a business page. You cannot run ads from a Facebook account, a personal account, though. It does have to be from a business page. So don't worry, people are not going to see pictures of your dog or your cat. They're only going to see what you are showing them from your Facebook business page. So really, really important kind of distinction there. The other thing is you need a base, what they call is a Facebook business account. I'd recommend this isn't required, but I do recommend setting up a business account, business manager, as you might call it. They're constantly changing the name of it. But basically, this gives you full control. You can do, billing. You can add in anyone on your team. You can manage multiple pages. You can do a lot with that. And then the last thing, um, website with a home search and an updated MLS. If you're listening to this, you probably have you're with Real and you're probably using Lofty. Lofty has this, but you need a website with an updated MLS, and I'll show you why when we get into the ads itself. And then, as I wrote here, a desire to actually be a better marketer than you are today. If you are attending this, it's because you're like, Chris, I want to do a better job in my business. I know I need to be doing social media. I know need to be doing paid ads. So this is a big, big part of it for a lot of agents. So with that being said, one of my favorite quotes, Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. One thing with Facebook ads, like I said earlier, agents are always baffled that they're like, Chris, I had no idea Facebook was this easy. So I'm gonna hopefully, or I shouldn't say that. I know by the end of this meeting today, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable with Facebook ads, and you'll be able to create an ad from start to finish. So hopefully you're drinking my Kool-Aid. So let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of like where do I actually start? So we're gonna dive right in. First thing you're gonna do, you're going to go to business.facebook.com. So business.facebook.com. Now, this part is it takes about 3-4 minutes. It's free. You're going to put in your name, your email address, your phone number. It will ask you for your billing info. That's because once you do start running ads, they need a card on file to bill you. It's free to set it up though, and like I said, it takes like 3-4 minutes. If you see a different screen, it's because you already have probably a business manager started. But I do recommend having a business manager set up and built before you start launching some ads. So, any questions at all in regards to that before we dive in further? Kevin, thanks for joining on here. Chris Zach here in San Diego. Any questions at all before we continue? But otherwise, Kevin, you just missed my intro. So, but yeah, we're gonna go to Business Manager and we're gonna get that started, and that will allow us to start building ads and actually launch some ads. All right. So let's assume Business Manager set up. Now, what are you going to do? Now, I don't know what a lot of your experience is with Facebook ads, but I don't live in a world that's just all rainbows and butterflies. I've been doing Facebook ads for a long time, so I understand some of you are like, Chris, I hate Facebook leads. Facebook leads are low quality. People aren't serious. So I want to talk kind of realistic expectations. And one of the biggest things that I like to talk about with agents is, hey, what's your goal with Facebook ads? So before any of my agents they run a single ad, I kind of interrogate them with 20 questions. And I'd love if anyone wants to be my guinea pig here today, I'd love to do the same. And so this is why, in my opinion, agents do not have good success with Facebook ads. It's not Facebook. Typically, it's you, the agent. And so here's what I mean by that. Who is your audience? So think about who you want to market to. So Kevin, I don't know if you want to share in chat. Send over maybe what area of the country you're in, or where you're located, and then if you want to share, Kevin, what are you trying to do with Facebook ads? Are you trying to generate more buyers, more sellers, market to past clients? Are you trying to promote a listing? Think about what you want to market. So I'm going to just pause there, and if Kevin or anyone else wants to chime in and share, I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to answer here. Anyone want to share? All right. If not, I'm going to go ahead and use myself as an example. So I'm located in a little village in California here called San Diego. If you've never been here, come to La Jolla, check out the beach, try our Mexican food, and enjoy some perfect weather. But if you think about San Diego. We have military, huge military. We've got oceanfront properties. We've got properties, 20 minutes from the beach. We've got properties 45 minutes from the beach. We've got kid-friendly communities. We've got condos, downtown market. What else do we have here? We've got $1 million homes. We've got $10 million homes. We've got $800,000 homes, believe it or not. So think about that. I just gave you guys 7 or 8 different examples. Those are all different audiences. I always use the example of like, you wouldn't talk to your past client the same way that you would a brand new Facebook lead. So why, when you approach your marketing, do you just kind of have this blanket approach? You can't say the same thing to everyone in your business and expect different results. And so what I recommend you do is kind of pick your poison. Are you targeting first-time home buyers? If so, you're going to need to talk kind of their language, their verbiage. And so what I would encourage you to do is think about that audience. All right. Think about where they're going to go next. If you are targeting first time home buyers, then are you going to take them to a site where maybe you talk about first time home buyer programs, you talk about down payment assistance, you talk about, hey, do you need 20% to buy a home? Maybe you've got a list of properties that are great for first time home buyers. So click here to view all homes that are great for first time home buyers. Currently renting, click a view of, of all homes that are, as cheaper than your rent. Whatever it is, think about where they're going to go next. Then think about the graphics and the verbiage. Think about your graphics and the verbiage. So that's super important. What are you saying in the graphic? What does your verbiage say on the graphic? What does your graphic or your verbiage in your ad itself say? So we're going to cover all of that here today, but this is super important. Last piece, one of the most important, and that is, do you have a follow-up plan in place? Do you have a follow-up plan in place? This is where most agents fail. I read a statistic the other day, and it takes 18 times, 1 8, 18 times to reach out to an online lead before they respond. Most of you listening to this call an internet lead once or twice, maybe 3 times if you're, slamming Red Bull, and then you give up on that lead. You stop calling them. You stop trying to pursue them. You have to have a follow-up plan in place. So if you have Lofty, Lofty has a great follow-up tool in place with the chat AI. Use their AI chatbot. You can customize it. So if you're working with first-time home buyers, your messaging and your verbiage should be talking directly to them. If you're targeting and you're running ads for relocation, the first thing should be, hey, considering a move to San Diego, click here to view all school districts within 10 miles of downtown. Maybe it's military relocation. You serve, thank you for your service. But maybe you've got, hey, click here to view all homes within 5 miles of this military base. Here's a list of schools. Here's a list of, all veteran, programs that we offer. Whatever it is, have a follow-up plan in place. This is the secret sauce. I always tell agents 50% of the battle is generating a lead. The other half is getting them to respond to you, getting them to sign on the dotted line, and then shaking hands and kissing babies, meeting their family, and actually doing business with them. So this is such an important piece. I spend a lot of time talking about this because so many agents just focus on new leads, new leads, new leads, new leads. But when's the last time you called a lead that, you generated a year ago or 18 months ago or 2 years ago? My guess is probably pretty slim. So having follow-up, having automation in place is massive. And as I mentioned earlier, you guys, this is part of what we build as well. So if we can help you on either generating the lead or building up the system, please, please, please let me know. So, any questions at all? Any questions? All right, so let's talk about the different type of ads that we can create. So once you have your business manager dialed in and in place, what you have the ability to do is you can create a new Facebook ad. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to your ads manager. So as I mentioned, you could go to business.facebook.com. The other link you could go to is, I'm going to send it over in chat here, business.facebook.com/ads manager. Otherwise, I want you guys to get in and start building and creating an ad here. So what you're going to do, you're going to hit create, this big green button, create. Okay, now once you click on that green button, you might see kind of a different screen pop up than what I'm looking at. You're going to click manual campaign right here. You're going to click manual campaign. All right, and then it's going to give you a bunch of options. First thing you need to click on, and you might need to scroll down just a little bit to see this. You need to choose the housing category. Housing category. That's what you're going to choose here. All right. And the reason why is basically with Facebook ads, there's certain things that you can and can't say on your ads, but there's certain things that you can and can't market as well within them. Do not try and outsmart Facebook. You have to have housing category. If you have ever maybe had your account shut down, maybe you've got an ad rejected, my guess is because you did not select this category, which is the housing category. So super important to do. All right. Any questions there? All right. Next up, what are the different type of Facebook ads that you can do? What are the different type of Facebook ads that you can do? So this is where it gets fun. So first one is what they call sales. We don't do those in real estate. This is e-commerce, right? You ever bought a pair of leggings, bought a t-shirt off of Instagram or off of Facebook? This is exactly how they got to you. So sales, we don't do those on the real estate side of things. However, leads. I am a big fan of this particular feature. So on the lead side of things, and we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. But this is my number one type of ad that I do, and I recommend you as an agent do, and that is generate leads using Facebook. And so that's what I'm going to encourage you guys to do. And so if you take a look at that, that is Facebook lead forms. What this means is when someone views your ad on Facebook, it auto populates their contact info. So instead of sending them to a website, you're actually asking them to register right on Facebook directly. That's massive. That's a big difference right there as well. And so what I would encourage you to do is definitely do the lead side of things. Do the lead side of things. All right. Next up is a category they call engagement. Engagement is also really good. Engagement's really good. And what that means, that's a good way for you to get more video views, people engaging more with your post. That's just a good way for you to get kind of what they call post engagement. We do some of these on the real estate side as well. Maybe you're promoting an open house. Maybe you're promoting like a first time home buyers workshop, something like that. But we do quite a bit of these as well. Next up is app promotion. My kids, when they're on their tablets, they're constantly getting, hey, download this game, download this game. We don't do a lot of that for real estate agents. Next up is traffic. We are doing a lot of traffic ads. We do a lot of traffic ads. Traffic ads. This is what Google does. This is Google traffic. This is what Zillow does. When you go on Zillow, when you go on Google and you type in a search, that is what a traffic ad is. So this is my number two favorite type of ad that we do. Traffic ad. Think of traffic the same way that you do a traffic cop. What that means is they're on their phone, they're scrolling through, they see your specific ad, and they're clicking on that ad. Now, once they click on that ad, it's like you're saying, stop searching on Facebook, and I want you to go to my website. So we do, as I mentioned, a lot of traffic ads. We'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. Last one, excuse me, awareness. So awareness ads, this is a billboard. Think of this as a digital billboard. So this is going to be a way for you to show ads to people who are most likely to remember you. So this is a good way for you to reach as many people as you can. It's a good way for you to get video views. This is brand awareness. Think of top of mind marketing here with awareness. So bench ad, grocery cart ads, billboards, that's a digital billboard. So awareness ads is that. We do some awareness ads typically when an agent's like, hey, Chris, we're new to this area. We need to get our name, we need to get our face out. Typically, we'll do some of those. We'll do some awareness ads. All right. Any questions at all before I move on there? Any questions? You guys are easy today in chat. Once again, this is being recorded, but if you do have any questions, please send them over in chat. All right. I'm going to keep trucking along then, guys. Um, So Facebook lead forms, as I mentioned, this is my favorite type of ad that I run. And the reason why is what you're seeing on your screen right now. So consumer, they see your ad, they click on learn more. Now, as soon as they click on learn more, it auto populates their email address, their name, and their phone number. That automatically happens. They don't have to do anything here. And so this automatically happens. And then the last step is it'll take them to, if they registered for, 123 Main Street, this is where you want to take them to your website where they're viewing that specific listing. And so, good news, bad news about Facebook lead forms. The good news, it saves consumers a lot of time. So, I always use this as an example. So, let's say I'm scrolling through my phone, right? And I'm on a website. I have to manually type in my name, my email address, and phone number. My kids are always giving me a hard time, and they're like, Chris, you got Shrek fingers. Dad, you got Shrek fingers. You got big old Wreck-It Ralph hands. Takes me about 30 seconds maybe to fill out this info. With Facebook lead forms, it auto populates their info, it pulls it from their Facebook profile. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is a lot of times there's a lot of people who do not and have not updated their contact info. They've got an email address from 10 years ago. They've got an old phone number. So I would say about 95% of contact info is accurate, but you are going to get people who they've got a phone number from 10 years ago. So when you call them, they're like, I never registered. Sometimes that's actually legit. What I've found for most of our clients across the country, get about 95% accurate info, but expect some fake contact info or old, outdated contact information as well. So, a couple questions coming in here. Let me just check in on these. I run Facebook ads. However, my market is rural and doesn't produce much. Any idea how to get more responses or get out of state? Yes, 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 Kevin. What area of the country are you located in, Kevin? I'll spoon feed you exactly where I think you should be marketing in. I'm originally from Minnesota. I live in San Diego now, but from a small town in Minnesota. So typically, if I'm running ads, in the area that I'm from, I'm having to target maybe a 50-mile radius. Sometimes I have to target two or three people, or I should say cities outside of the state. So it really depends. But if you want to share in chat where you're actually located, I don't mind taking a look at that for you as well. Yo, really good question. It's a really, really common one. Yep, and I'll show you, yeah, I'll show you here in just a moment where to do that, where we can actually change that. All right. Next up is you can do what they call Facebook messages. And so instead of them registering, hey, send me a Facebook message. This is a really good solution for a lot of agents. If you don't like cold calling, you can do this. What that means is when they click on learn more, on your ad, they actually send you a Facebook or Instagram message directly. And so that's one way. I only recommend this option if you have Instagram, you have Facebook, and you're on your phone all day, every day, like most of us are. But speed to lead with this is really, really important. They also have some kind of chatbot type of features that you can use, kind of like autoresponders, if you will. Um, but yeah, we have a lot of agents that have good success with that as well. Yeah. All right. Hour south of St. Louis. Yeah, so if I'm you, I would probably show your ads more in the St. Louis market. I might do kind of a couple other major cities. I don't know how wide of a net you've casted, but the kind of the smallest net you can cast is 15 miles. The most you can do is 50 on one city, so a 50-mile radius, 50. But you can combine multiple cities or multiple states. So in just a minute, I'll show you exactly where you do that here, Kevin. All right, so so we talked about kind of the different type of ads that you can run. I typically break this into three parts. So first part, what are the different type of ads that you can run? Second part, hey, talk to me about budget. Talk to me about who is actually going to see my ads. That includes physical location as well. So we'll next cover that specific topic here. All right, so let's talk money. So on the budget side of things, you have two options. You can do what they call lifetime budget. Hey, spend $200 over the next 2 weeks. They will spread this out for you. This is not something that we're going to spend all their money in one day. They want you to keep coming back and spending money. So they do spread it out over the course of whatever kind of time frame. If it's 2 weeks, if it's a month, they'll spread that budget out. The thing with lifetime budget I do like is you can run ads on a schedule. So if you want to say, hey, I only want to show these ads Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, that's when I mainly focus on real estate. You could do that. Um, you got an assistant, maybe you've got an ISA, someone calling your leads for you. You can schedule them. You can also say, hey, I only want to show these ads at night or on weekends. So that's really a nice, kind of a nice feature with lifetime budget. The other option, daily budget, pretty self-explanatory. Hey, I want to spend $5 a day. At a minimum, spend $5 a day. You cannot, and I do not recommend spending less than $5 a day on an ad. You just will not see the results that you're hoping for spending less than that. So I recommend a minimum of $5 a day. And then what I also recommend is running that ad for about 7 days. So spend about 35 bucks on an ad before you do say, hey, this didn't work or it did. They've got a learning phase, is what they call it, where it takes a couple days for them to really kind of know what type of people are engaging with your ad and all of that. But that's a super important thing, I think, for you guys to understand. You've got to let this kind of work itself out. So realistically, start with $5 a day. You can always increase your budget if the ad starts doing well. You can always turn the budget up. Hey, I want to spend $10 a day. Hey, I want to spend $8 a day. You can always add more money. They will gladly spend it. Yep. But this is just kind of a best practice I recommend. All right. Next up, your audience. Now, custom audiences, we're not going to talk about this today, but if any of you have ever wanted to do retargeting, I teach a second class called Facebook Ads 201. All I talk about is retargeting and custom audiences. So I do that the third Thursday of every month. Look on the real training calendar and you'll see that. But today we won't talk about custom audiences. We will talk about exactly what you were asking about there just a few minutes ago, Kevin, and that's the location. So you'll see on my screen here, I've got a few different areas. You could target an entire state, you could target a specific city, um, and you can combine multiple ones. Now, here's what I will warn you against. Um, if you have a small budget, do not spread it out over two or three kind of areas or markets. I would probably recommend the first ad that you run, do about a 30-mile radius and start there. See if that's too wide or too narrow. And then based on results, you can kind of adjust it. You know your area better than I do. So, for example, you're in New York City, a 15-mile radius that covers what, like 9 states? So really, really large net. But like Kevin said, he's more of kind of a smaller rural area. He might need to do a 50-mile radius. He might need to do a 100-mile radius, combining multiple areas where he's got kind of a larger net cast. So know your area, know your market. The other thing is, I'm in San Diego, so we get a lot of relocation buyers. Right now, we get a lot of people moving down from the Bay Area. We get people from Los Angeles. We get people from, Santa Barbara. We get people from Orange County. We get people from Riverside County. So if I wanted to, I could say, show this ad in this specific area, and I could just have a relocation campaign if I wanted to. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you got to think about who you're marketing to and who you're trying to target. If you're trying to generate relocation traffic, but you're not showing those ads, in that location, then the campaign's going to fail. So super important to know that. Any questions there? Does that make sense, Kevin? Does that help a little bit? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to stay hydrated. I've been on back-to-back meetings all morning. All right, so let's keep on trucking along. So next up is demographics. You come into the restaurant and you want to know how the barbecue sauce is being made? This is Facebook. This is their secret sauce right here, guys. So what's really cool is you can target people specifically on what they call the demographics. So what you have the ability to do is you can actually say, hey, I want to target people who have recently been on Zillow. I want to target people who have recently been on Trulia. Why would you want to do that? And so I call this, piggyback marketing. People who are on Zillow right now, they're probably looking at real estate, right? People that are on Trulia, they're probably looking at real estate. So Facebook gives you all of this data that you as a marketer can use for free. Well, I shouldn't say for free. You do have to pay for it, but you can choose all of these different demographics. So what I'd recommend doing is choose two demographics to start. I would recommend probably just doing Zillow and Trulia. That's probably where I would start out if I were you. You don't need to get more complex than that to start. Keep it simple. So do Trulia, do Zillow. That's what I would encourage you, kind of where I would encourage you to just start with. You can always add in more areas or more kind of different demographics. But if I were you, just start with those two. Start with those two. After that, you'll notice here at the bottom, there's a lot of different options that you have. So you can target first-time home buyers. You can target, people who have recently been looking for a mortgage. You can target people who looked for a first-time home buyer grant. Facebook is constantly updating this verbiage and all of these different kind of these demographics, if you will. So they're constantly getting new data. They're constantly purchasing data companies. They're constantly trying to do a better job of, getting you in front of the right people. And so I love that you're able to really kind of tap into this and say, hey, show this ad to people in a 50-mile radius who have recently been on Zillow. That is hunting with a sniper rifle now. I love that you're able to do that as a marketer. So, any questions there? And let me just kind of review real quick, make sure I answered all the questions in chat. Yeah, Kevin, you were being too targeted, meaning you were probably too specific, too narrow. Broaden it up a little bit. Broaden it up a little bit and see if that helps. I think it should. No. All right. Next up, you can target on specific platforms. So I keep saying Facebook today. Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. Facebook is owned by Meta. Meta owns Facebook. They own Instagram. They own WhatsApp. They own a bunch of other data companies as well. So when you're creating ads, you could tell them, "Hey, I only want to show this ad to people on Facebook. I only want to show this ad to people on Instagram." And so what's really important is know your audience. Are you working with a bunch of first-time home buyers? What's the average age of that first-time home buyer? Are you targeting snowbirds in the Midwest? Okay. What's the average age of those snowbirds who are relocating to Fort Myers, Florida? Know your audience, know how to market to them. So Facebook's going to be a little bit of an older demographic. I would say between the ages of 25 and 100, right? Your mom, your mom's mom, your grandma's grandma's on Facebook. Literally everyone and their mom is on Facebook. On Instagram, younger demographic. You've got the ages of, I would say, 15 all the way up to about 45. Obviously, you can be on Instagram if you're a little bit older, but that's typically most of their traffic is coming from those different age demographics. So if you are a first-time home buyer, show your ads on Instagram. If you're kind of, hey, Chris, I've got kind of a smorgasbord of a lot of different people, show your ads on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't tell them where you want to spend the money, your money's going to get spent probably 90-95% on Facebook. Facebook dominates as far as traffic. They get tons more traffic than Instagram does. But you can also just be very specific. We'll talk about that in just a second as far as kind of visually how you want to talk to those people differently. Um, the other thing, I've got some clients, they're like, Chris, you don't understand my clients. They're not on Facebook. Okay, I'll humor you, but are they on the internet? Oh, yeah, of course they are. Okay. Facebook ads show all over the place. They're on ESPN.com, New York Times, Chicago Tribune. Millions of websites have Facebook ads on them. You probably just don't understand that that's actually Facebook ads you're seeing when you go to these websites. So they have third-party websites they market to. You can target on Facebook stories and reels. You can target on search results. You can target on messages. So you can really get specific if you really, really want to. All right. So that kind of wraps up the second phase of this. So we've talked, hey, what type of ad that you want to run? I want to run an ad for leads, or I want to run an ad for traffic. We've talked about budget. I want to spend $5 a day, a 50-mile radius of, St. Louis, and I want to target people on Zillow and Trulia, and I want to target people who are on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, we're ready to go. We're almost done. So now the last step, what are the general public, what are consumers seeing? So before I get into this last section, guys, what questions do we have? Any questions? All right. So let's talk visually. What is the consumer going to see? So first up, what they're going to see, they have the option. You can choose what they call a single image. Pretty self-explanatory what that is. You'll notice I've got three different images on your screen. Why? It depends on where they see this ad. So if they're on Facebook Messenger, um, or I'm sorry, if they're on Facebook, they're going to see on desktop computer, they're going to see this one. If they're on Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels or Stories, they're going to see this one. If they're on mobile, which 90% of traffic is, they're going to see this one, more of a square image. Majority of your traffic and your leads, they're going to see these two. So this is really what you want to design is these two. But also there are some areas, if you're working with kind of an older demographic and maybe they're on their desktop computer, that's how they're on Facebook. You're going to want to have all three of these. All of our clients, we do graphic design, we do video editing for as well. But this is just kind of an example of some of the visual side of things. All right. Next up is what they call carousel. Carousel. So carousel is a collection of photos or videos. You can have a minimum of two all the way up to 10. Now you'll notice this is automatically scrolling through. Um, Consumers, they actually have to tap to go to the next image or the next photo. Um, but this is really good for like a specific listing. This is really good for a specific, maybe you've got like a photo of like the front of the house. The next one they scroll through is the inside of the home. The next one is maybe the backyard and the pool. The next one is, a picture of the kitchen. Um, these do really well for listings. Carousel do really well for listings. They also do well for like kind of generic buyer ads. So maybe you've got like, San Diego, for example, oceanfront homes. The next one, downtown high-rise condos. The next slide, homes between this price point. The next one, houses in this school district. So Carousel does a good job of getting a lot of really good engagement. Um, but yeah, you can have a collection or a variety. You'll notice all of these have to be square. So these have to be square. Yep. All right. Next up is video. I am a big fan of video. Video, video, video. So, a couple things. Video side of things. They have to be under 59 seconds to run an ad. Um, don't give away all the details. A mistake I see agents constantly make is they put together a video and they just give away everything about that property. Now I have zero reason to reach out to you. I have zero reason to click through that ad. So, what's really, really important is you want to dangle that carrot a little bit. So, on an ad, you want to have something more like this. Hey, this is Chris. I'm in the backyard of my new listing here in Rancho Penasquita, San Diego. Come take a look at this backyard. Wait until you see the inside. If you want a full tour of this home, click the link below and you can look at this entire property or every single listing that's available right now in San Diego. Dangle that carrot a little bit. Don't give them an entire tour of the house. You want them to go to your website. You want them to become a lead, right? And so video does a really, really good job of getting consumers engaged and clicking through. As I mentioned, we do all graphic design, video editing for our clients, but if you're trying to do this on your own, two apps I'd recommend. Canva is one. It's like 10, 12 bucks a month. Really, really good for real estate. They've got thousands of templates. You can create a real estate graphic for one of your listings, probably in about 2 or 3 minutes. You don't have to be a graphic designer. You just need to know how to click on stuff. So Canva makes it really, really simple. Canva's good for more of the graphic side. You can do video, but for video and kind of social media videos, I'd recommend CapCut. CapCut's really good on the video side of things for kind of these type of ads and for video editing and kind of social media. All right. Last piece, and we'll wrap up with this here today, guys. What does the ad itself actually say? This is obviously a very, very, very important piece of this puzzle. So if we take a look at this, there's a few things that we can control and we can kind of manipulate here. So you'll notice on my screen, you've got the ability to write a headline. So you can write a headline. The headline's going to go right here, right below the image. And then above that, you have primary text. Primary text is going to go above the image or the video. And then you've got what's called the description. Description's optional. It only shows on desktop and it goes right here at the bottom. So you'll notice on headline, I say I'd only recommend headline 7 or 8 words max and use emojis. On the next screen, I'll give you guys some of my ad copy that I use. But what I recommend doing on the headline side of things, keep it short and sweet. The other thing is if you are marketing and showing ads outside of the area, don't just say the name of the area. Another mistake I see a lot of agents make is they get super granular with cities. So they're like the trailhead at Cranberry Springs. It's like there's like 6 homes in that area. I've lived here for 30 years and I've never heard of that area. So reference areas and cities that people that might be out of the area are also familiar with. The other thing too is if you need to, you might need to display the name of the state. Venice, for example, I'm running some ads for a client in Venice. They're showing those ads in New York. So people are in New York are searching in Europe and they're searching in Florida. So specify what you're trying to market in the headline. The primary text, the headline's supposed to get their attention to where they want to read the primary text. So keep that 2, 3 sentences max. Don't put the entire MLS description. Don't put 7 paragraphs here. Keep it relatively short and sweet. Once again, the goal is not to, sell the house on the ad. The goal is to get them to click to your website to see if that's a house they actually want to inquire more about. So I recommend 2, 3 sentences, use emojis, and then call to action. So we'll talk about that here, right here on this slide. So for anyone taking notes, anyone taking screenshots, this is where you're going to want to take a screenshot right here on this screen. All right, so let's look at this. So on this, you've got the headline. You'll notice pretty short and sweet, right? Just listed home in San Diego. Search all San Diego homes. Oceanfront condos for sale. Golf course properties for sale. I would not do this headline for like a relocation ad, right? Why? Because there's golf course properties in every single state. So you're not selling real estate in every city. So only use these type of headlines if you're just showing that ad locally. Otherwise, as I mentioned, name the city, name the state, and then use emojis. Emojis, they call them thumb stoppers because as people are scrolling through Facebook frantically on Instagram, they stop when they see an emoji for whatever reason. It's just like this little kind of Morse code of like, hey, stop and look at this. Next thing up is what they call as primary text. All right, primary text. You'll notice I reiterate the headline, just listed home in San Diego. And then I'm going to show a little bit of details on this specific property. Gorgeous 3 bed, 3.5 bath in San Diego, priced at this. I always include the price in my ads. I will argue to death about this. If you do not put price in your ads, you're going to get a bunch of Karens and a bunch of trolls in the comments. I hate when realtors they post an ad and they don't show the price. You'll just get a bunch of people mad in the comments. So I recommend putting the price. It will get rid of people who are just kind of clicking on ads. And it'll also get people that are actually interested in, the price point that you're actually going after and targeting. So super important. I might recommend adding another sentence right here about the property itself. So if it's in a school district, if there's something unique about the property located in a cul-de-sac, gated community, add one or two little kind of other descriptions about that property. But don't write the entire MLS description. And then the last thing, always tell people what to do. So this is my ET theory. So, in ET, when he keeps just dropping those Reese's pieces, same thing. You want to tell consumers what to do. After they read, click learn more, click learn more, click learn more, click learn more. You're telling people what you want them to do. When we started to implement this into our ads like 5, 6 years ago, we got double the amount of clicks. For whatever reasons, consumers, they're just so frantic and they just quickly scroll through everything on Facebook, on Instagram so quickly. So when you tell them, hey, stop, click this to go to my website, tell people what to do. Put that call to action in every single one of your ads, and you'll notice better results from that little secret. Description that goes below the headline. Once again, short and sweet, 5, 6 words. Use emojis. So here's an example of kind of a completed ad, what it all kind of looks like here. And then the next thing, kind of the last thing that we're going to have to choose, and that is what they call as the call to action. So as I mentioned, learn more, learn more, learn more. That's what we're telling people to do. There's actually a bunch of other buttons that people can click on and choose. So they call this the call to action button. Learn more. I would say some of my favorites that we use: learn more, download now, get access. Those are probably the three most popular and the ones that we do a lot of. So learn more, learn more, learn more. Um, as I mentioned, if you do say download now, just make sure in your ad copy it says, hey, if you're wanting this full list, click download now to get access to this full list of properties in San Diego, whatever it is. And then the last thing you want to do is make sure whenever they do register, do not take them to the homepage. They're not going to remember what they registered for, meaning they don't remember the address was 1278, Johnson Street, Unit 4B4. So take them to whatever they registered. If I registered on your listing on Johnson Street, take me to Johnson Street. If I registered for a list of properties in San Diego, take me there. So save them a click always, always, always. And then after that, you are going to publish this ad. First time you do, it's going to take maybe 5 minutes to go live, if that. Um, but it should go live. Make sure housing category selected. Make sure you're spending a minimum of $5 a day. If for some reason your ad gets rejected, it'll tell you why. But otherwise, it should go through relatively quickly. And then as always, guys, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Now, just a couple things real quick, and then I'll open it up for some Q&A. We always have agents that say, Chris, can we just, I want to test Facebook, but I don't want to hire you full time. So we have a product called 7 Days to Sell. If you go to 7daystosell.com or visit our website, you'll see you can promote a listing. We do a 7-day Facebook ad for 89 bucks. That includes the ad spend. That includes us doing everything I showed you today. That's a really good way for you to promote like a listing. So maybe you've got an open house, you've got a new listing that's, on the market for the last 9 months, something that you need to help promoting. Feel free to scan that QR code. And as I mentioned, we do Facebook, Google, Instagram, and YouTube. And then we also help agents set up their CRM. So if there's anything we can do to help on that side, let me know. Follow us on social media. We teach 2 classes every month, but we're constantly posting different tips and tricks that we do. we only work with real estate agents. That's our niche. That's our bread and butter. So if you want to see what we're testing, what on Facebook, on Instagram ads, follow us on social. And then the last thing, we do a newsletter twice a month. We give little good tips and tricks. So we just sent out a newsletter last week about how to get more reviews in real estate agents. We're going to be doing another one next week on how to run the best open house ad. So feel free to sign up for our newsletter. If you do, just confirm your email address. You'll get an email back from us right away. Just make sure you click on confirm because otherwise we will not send it over to you. But otherwise, thank you guys for attending. I teach two classes every month. So this was Facebook Ads 101. If you need the recording, send your email address in chat. Otherwise, you can email me at chris@chriszacinteract.com. Otherwise, I'll hang out here for a couple minutes, answer any questions. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend and thank you for attending. Any questions at all? Feel free to unmute yourself if you do have any questions, guys. I'll hang out here for a couple minutes and then I'll sign off. Sounds good, guys. Well, thanks again for attending today. Hope you enjoy your weekend.